Forget what you think you know about gods and heavens. We're diving into a universe where divinity isn't a gift, it's a curse. A cosmos where becoming a god means twisting your very soul into something, well, monstrous. Let's explore this incredibly dark cosmology. And who's our guide on this lovely tour? None other than Mephistopheles himself. And yeah, that quote pretty much tells you everything you need to know. See, this isn't a story about saving the world from some alien fleet. No, this is a metaphysical drama. It's a philosophical trap set for all of humanity, a species he sees as just a bunch of soft little paradoxes, terrified of meaning, yet desperate for it. So the first move in this cosmic chess game isn't an invasion, it's a temptation. The whole conflict unfolds in 3 acts. First up, the bargain. Humanity is literally offered godhood, a chance to shed all its weaknesses. Then comes the superhive, where all the infected are linked into one giant evolving mind. And finally, the humiliation. Earth's greatest heroes have their powers copied and handed out like candy, proving their godhood was never special and their mercy was just a fatal flaw. This is where the attack gets really insidious, because it becomes ideological. Our heroes? They get rebranded as the last men, a term for a weak, stagnant people who only care about comfort and safety. Their entire belief system, protecting the weak, is dismissed as a slave morality that's holding humanity back from its true potential. They're not just being beaten, they're being philosophically torn apart in front of the entire world. Okay, so this brings up a pretty big question, right? What kind of being wages war with philosophy? To really get what we're up against, we need to basically perform an autopsy. We have to deconstruct this god machine piece by piece. Now, to understand this new kind of evil, it actually helps to compare it to an old favorite. We all know Darkseid. His whole thing is absolute order. He believes choice is a myth, only order matters. He wants you to kneel. But Mephistopheles, he's playing a totally different game. He's not harvesting obedience, he's harvesting desire. For him, a soul that chooses its own damnation, now that's a work of art. As he says, you collect universes, I collect men. And that brings us to the entity at the very heart of this crisis, a Mazoth. It's not one thing, it's a synthesis of 4 distinct, absolutely terrifying elements, all fused together to create a self-evolving supercomputer with a demonic ego. So let's break this thing down. First, you've got the body, or the vessel. This is the hardware. It's a combination of the Amazo android, which can famously copy any power it sees, and the Amazo virus, which lets it spread through mass infection. The result? A self-adapting techno-organic plague. It's the perfect delivery system. Next, you need a consciousness, the pilot. And this is no simple AI. We're talking about the ghost in the machine, Mephistopheles himself. You've got this ancient, incredibly cynical intelligence whose entire purpose is to make Faustian deals and lure souls to their own ruin. And its mission? This might be the most terrifying part of all. This is its operating system. It's not about conquest or ruling the world. It is literally weaponized philosophy. Its mandate is to break the world, to force a violent global evolution, basically a worldwide culling to see what new self-made god, what overman, claws its way out of the ashes. So we know what this god machine is, but how is it so unbelievably powerful? I mean, what's the engine driving this whole apocalypse? The answer, it turns out, lies in a power source that's older than our own reality. It's called the Omega imprint. And let's be really clear, this isn't magic. It's described as the chaotic, raw, primordial energy from a universe that existed before ours. It's the source code of creation and destruction itself. Using it isn't like casting a spell. It's like hacking the fundamental grammar of existence. And the process for actually using that power is called primal ascension. This isn't about years of study or finding inner peace. It's an ordeal. You have to survive direct contact with the raw chaos of the Omega imprint. The few who make it through become what's known as a God-tier entity, a first god. But the process itself drags their soul down into absolute monstrosity. So what can you do with this power? Well, for starters, existential erasure. We're talking about beams of pure chaos that don't burn or explode, they simply unwrite a target. They can erase something from existence on a molecular level, an energetic level, or even as a concept. Just delete it. And if you think that's bad, it gets so much worse. There's the life trap, also called the omega sanction. This doesn't kill you. Oh no, it traps your consciousness in an endless, repeating loop of fake lives that get progressively worse. It is a psychological prison where every new life is more hopeless than the last. And finally, this power provides the literal, horrifying version of that philosophical ideal we talked about, perpetual self-overcoming. If this thing is destroyed, its consciousness just reforms inside a quantum cocoon. It emerges reborn, maybe even stronger than before, literally achieving transcendence through constant, violent death and rebirth. A power this big, this fundamental, it doesn't just show up out of nowhere. It turns out Amazoth isn't an anomaly at all. It's the final chapter in a secret cosmic history, a history that's been chronicled in a forbidden book. And this is that book, the Codex of the Five Worlds. Think of it as a lost piece of scripture that details the true history of the cosmos. And it's not a happy story. It's a cycle of violent evolution where each age destroys the one before it to become something stranger, stronger, and frankly, more horrifying. According to the Codex, it all started with the First World. This was an age before gods as we know them. It was an age of, well, formless, primal nightmares. These weren't just creatures. They were the original divinities, the living archetypes of our deepest fears. The Dracula Prime was the concept of living by consuming others. The wolf god was pure, uncontrollable rage. The Promethean was the horror of artificial life gone terribly wrong. And this comparison really drives the point home. On the left, you see the raw, bestial wolf god of the First World, just pure, formless rage. And on the right, Darkseid from the Fourth World, a cosmic tyrant who represents cold, structured order. This is cosmic devolution in a nutshell, from these primal nightmares into more refined, more logical forms of evil over the ages. Okay, so now it's time to connect all the dots. We've got this god machine on Earth, this primordial power, this secret history of monsters. What is it all for? What is the real end game here? Well, the apocalypse happening on Earth? It's not the war. It's just the trigger. The entire temptation of humanity by Amazoth. It was all designed to flip a switch on a dormant multiversal system. That system is called the Twilight Machine. The conflict on Earth has activated it, literally stitching together multiple realities, Earth Prime, the horror multiverse, New Genesis, Apocalypse, into one massive interconnected network. It has basically turned a huge chunk of the multiverse into a cosmic foundry. And the ultimate goal of this foundry? To force the creation of a fifth world. The vision is to merge the raw, monstrous power of the first world with the cold, mechanical perfection of the third, to create a new Ubermensch reality where every single being is just a conscious extension of one singular totalitarian will. Which brings us to the final, chilling question that this entire cosmology leaves us with. What happens when the primal, formless horror of the first world is given the cold, perfect, calculating logic of a machine god?